Hi besties, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today we're going to be talking about some of the worst rated books that I have read according to Goodreads, and we're going to see, do I think that they deserve the ratings that they have on average. We're starting off hot with Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. This was one of my worst books of 2021, so I definitely think that it deserves its spot on this list. I hated this book so much. You should absolutely check out my worst books of 2021 video if you want like more specifics and stuff, because it has been a while since I read it. But this was a book that just really did not resonate with me, and I think it was attempting to do a lot of things that I can appreciate on an intellectual level, but I absolutely hated all of it on a personal level. And I just think that reading it was just such a disgusting experience for me that I couldn't appreciate any of like the artistry or the social and interpersonal commentary that was being done in the book. I could not appreciate it. The average rating is a 3.6 on Goodreads, and I think that that makes a lot of sense because I'm sure there are a lot of readers who, like me, went into the book and were really off-put by some of like the descriptions and things that go on in this book. So I could definitely see it like getting low ratings, but I can also see a lot of people really enjoying it and thinking that it's just so amazing and innovative and like raw and real. So I could definitely see it being like one of those really polarizing reads where there's like a lot of low ratings like mine and then a lot of people who rated it very highly. So I think that like a 3.6 makes a lot of sense, but I hated it so bad, y'all. Okay, so up next we have Guarding Temptation by Talia Hibbert, and this one has a 3.57, and I have to say that I really don't understand the rating for this one like at all. I really enjoyed this. I think I read it in a vlog a while ago, so I'll leave the vlog linked. I think it was part of my like Mina Reads Your Fave series, and I read this. This is a novella, and it's like a like brother's best friend type of story. It's about this character. She's like an activist and she gets some people upset basically, so now she's being cyber stalked or something like that. She's really worried about her safety, and so her brother's best friend comes to like stay with her, or she goes to stay with him so he can like protect her because she feels unsafe. And it's just this kind of like protected romance. It's really short, but it was fun and it was steamy and I had a good time reading it. So I kind of can't imagine why it has such a low rating. I still think it was really good. Like I would still recommend it even though it has a pretty low rating. I think if you're looking for something fun and steamy and all that good stuff, like I think you'd like it. So that's just my take on it. Then we have First Comes Like by Alicia Wright. This one is a 3.56. I have to say I definitely agree with this. This is like a rom-com that has a bunch of different tropes in it, and I think that it utilizes all of the tropes very poorly. And I think that for me personally, this book really distills like so many things that I hate about the trends that we're seeing in publishing recently, where a lot of books are being bought and sold and written around tropes rather than the tropes kind of just being a feature of the storyline. So there's like a character, she gets catfished by someone, and the person whose photo was being used to catfish her was like this Bollywood star. So they end up, there's like a catfishing storyline, then they end up like fake dating, then they end up in a marriage of convenience, and then like all of these different tropes kind of stacking on top of each other, and I feel like none of them are executed to the fullest extent. And I think that this is a result of the fact that tropes are being prioritized so much in the publishing process, and like selling a book and like promoting and hyping a book. And so I feel like some of the tropes were incorporated in this just so the author could be like, ooh, like this is a fake dating romance. Ooh, this has the only one bed trope. Like I feel like it incorporated all of those different things for marketing purposes, and so as a result the narrative wasn't that good. That's my opinion. Yeah, like it just led to a very lackluster reading experience that could have been a really great book. I feel like the characters were really cool, and I liked some aspects of the setup and the scenario that the characters were in, but I think that the attempt to implement so many different tropes just like it weakened the story as a whole for me personally. So yeah, I think it definitely deserves what it got because it is a very average read that could have been above average if the author just like picked a lane and stuck to it and really like worked at crafting it and making it good. I think it would have been great. Then we have When No One Was Watching by Alyssa Cole. I did not love this book. I think I gave this one like a 3-star. I really didn't love it. Like, it was an okay read for me. And I think that I would have maybe liked this book more if it didn't try to do the romance between the two main characters. Because I feel like the romance between them was just so, like, ill. Like, I just didn't like it. I wasn't a fan. It just was like, why? Why did they like each other? Why would they be together? I don't get it. So I think that the romance really dragged down the story for me. For me, I feel like a 3.54. I think that makes sense because I don't think it was very like thrilling or shocking. I also don't think that the romance was like super good. It all just felt very average, very middle of the road. So I think that it definitely deserves the rating that it has, in my opinion. So then we have The Sea Witch by Katie Robert. Another book that is in my worst of the year. I hated this book for so many reasons. I just think it's so fucking stupid. This book has a 3.51 rating, and I think it absolutely deserves this. I think it actually deserves lower. Like Ursula, Ariel, and Prince Eric, like retelling. They have different names in the book, but I can't remember what the names were in the book. But it's those characters, and I just hated this one. I just felt like the plot line was so stupid. It's like a revenge plot line, but the revenge doesn't make any fucking sense. The characters are just entirely nonsensical in the way that they go about achieving this revenge. I feel like their relationship sucks. I feel like the sex they had was so boring and weird. I feel like the relationship dynamics between the characters sucked really, really bad. It was terrible. And also, I think beyond it just like not being to my own personal taste, not really enjoying it, because I feel like for the most part, I would have maybe given it like a 2-star, even though I didn't love it. Like it was fine, but it wasn't good, right? But I think like the real reason that I hate it so much is because it is paint by numbers, the same exact story as Learn My Lesson, which comes like maybe 2 or 3 books before it in the series. And so I just think that it's so crazy that you have this insane, you have this completely idiotic storyline, and then you do it twice in the same series, like, and it wasn't good either time. Why would you do that? Why would that be the case? Like, I don't understand. So for me personally, hated it bad. I actually think it deserves a lower rating than it has, but that's just me. Like, it just wasn't good. I didn't like it. Ill. Then we have Every Value Break by Peter Swanson. This is a thriller, and this is another one of those like kind of social commentary thrillers where I feel like the social commentary was weak. It was not good. Like it was so poorly done in my opinion. I feel like the twist was so weak and terrible and sucky, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. And it was such a cool concept because it's about this girl who she's about to get married to this guy that she likes but doesn't really love. She's about to get married to him. She ends up cheating on him at like her bachelorette party, and then while she's on her honeymoon, the guy that she cheated with is at the same resort as her and her new husband. And I just felt like that concept could have been done in such a cool way, and it wasn't achieved. Like, it had so much promise and it did not maximize on any of it. Definitely, I feel like I would read more stuff by Peter Swanson in the future, but I would hope that his twists are better in the other ones, because the twist in this one sucked. It just wasn't good in my opinion. I'm sorry. Then number 4 on the list, we're getting to the upper echelon of bad. So number 4 on the list, we have Paddled by Krampus by Harley LaRoe, and this book is a very short novella. It's maybe like 20 pages long, and it's like a Christmas novella about this girl who's been naughty on Christmas, so she gets, you guessed it, paddled by Krampus. And this has a 3 point, what does it say? This has a 3.44 rating on Goodreads, and I think that is pretty self-explanatory. I feel like this story is really short, so if you read it and you think it's hot, then you'll think it's hot. And if you read it and you think it's not, you'll think it's not. So to me, it having a kind of low rating makes a lot of sense, because it's just like, And it's not meant to be taken too seriously, so I feel like a lot of people aren't taking it very seriously, and as a result, the ratings are pretty low. So to me, it makes sense. Next, we're getting into the top 3. So in the number 3 spot, we have The Scarlet Letter with a 3.43. This book I read in high school, so all of my thoughts about it are coming from like 16-year-old Amina, but I hated it. It was so boring. I just had no appreciation for it. And I imagine that a lot of people who are reading it for school. And so I think it makes sense for it to have low ratings just for that reason. Any book that I read for school, I automatically end up slightly biased against it and like not liking it just by virtue of it being like a school book that I have to read. But I think that in particular, this is like such a sucky book to have to read for school because it's so slow and it just feels very like meandering and uninteresting. So I definitely see why people would rate it very low. And number 2 spot, we have Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. And this one is very low. It is 3.29. And I have to say that it absolutely deserves it. I really did not like this book. This is like a rom-com. It's about this girl who works in like a neighborhood knitting store, and this store was owned by a recently deceased woman, and it's now being run by her sons. And so the girl, she kind of grew up with the woman as like her mentor figure and these sons as like, you know, background characters in her life, and she always had a crush on the one son. And this is a romance between them. But I hated it. First of all, it was a not like other girls travesty. This girl is really positioned like she is just so much better, so much different, so much more special than any other woman that has ever existed on the planet. And I hate romances that do that. Like, I definitely think that, you know, when a person meets like their person and like their soulmate or whatever, I definitely think that, you know, that person can feel really special and really amazing and wonderful, and I think that's fine. But I hate the fact that she is positioned as like this really good, amazing, like virtuous person in comparison to all of the crappy, like sinister sirens that this character was with prior to being with her or having feelings for her. I just hated it. I didn't like that at all. And I also thought that the male main character, he was such a man child. He was so uninteresting. It felt more like the female protagonist was like babysitting him than she was being wooed by him, and I fucking hated that so much. Like, it just was bad. I can't think of a single thing about this book that I liked. I hated this book. I really did not like it. I ended up giving it 1 star, and it just was like, for me, it was like everything that I hate to see in a romance, and it was all of it all at once. I thought the girl, she was really uptight. It was very, you know, like I said, very not like other girls. The guy, he sucked. There was nothing swoon worthy or interesting or romantic about their relationship at all. It just was bleh. And in the number 1 spot, we have Meet Cute Club with a whopping 3.28. And I have to say, I don't think this is deserved at all. I do not think that this deserves to be the lowest rated book on the list. I think that this was a very cute, very sweet, simple romance, and I don't really understand why it's so harshly rated. Like, it's really cute. So Meet Cute Club is about this guy named Jordan, and he runs like a romance book club in his neighborhood, and it's usually just like him and a bunch of other like, you know, middle-aged ladies, but he ends up inviting this guy named Rex to join a book club meeting, and so it's a romance between them. They're kind of opposites attract sort of thing, and I thought that this was really cute. Like, I thought it was really cute. It was, yes, a bit cheesy, but I think that it was all of the things that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, you know, sweet and cheesy and simple, and it was that, and I loved it personally. Like, I gave it 5 stars. It was really good to me. I read it, I think I got an arc of it actually, so I read it maybe a few days before it released, and then I remember it releasing and all the ratings rolling in, and it was a lot of just like really, really low ratings, like lots of 2 stars, 3 stars, and I just don't get it. Like, it was cute. It was cute. I don't get it. I will never understand it personally. I loved Rex and Jordan. I thought they were so cute, and that was kind of the start of me like really loving Jack Harbaugh as a writer. So for me, I'm shook and shaken that his book is like the lowest rated. It just doesn't make sense to me because it was so good. Like, it was good. The girls, clearly they didn't see the vision. Their third eye wasn't open wide enough, because this is a good book. To me, it's a good book. I feel like it's everything that it promises to be in the synopsis. I think it does all very well. Like, I don't know, maybe if you wanted it to be longer, if you feel like it's rushed, because it is a pretty short book, but like, even still, I can't come up with like a good reason for the rating to be this low, in my opinion. So those were the worst books that I read according to Goodreads. I have to say that for the most part, I agreed a lot with this list. I do think a lot of these deserve to be relatively lowly rated, and I think that 3 stars, like 3-ish average rating, is not the end of the world necessarily, but it is pretty low. It is pretty low, and I think that a good amount of them deserve it, or it makes a lot of sense why they are rated the way they are. But Meet Cute Club justice for my babies. They did no wrong. So yeah, Meet Cute Club and Guarding Temptation, they deserved better. But other than that, I have to say that I really do agree with this list. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and a special thank you to all of my wonderful patrons.